Hello and welcome back to the GatorLAN stream brought to you by Everlife Gaming. We are watching the semifinals match, number one of this best of three between UF team on the blue side and Fourskin gang on the red side. I'm Aaron Canadian Head and I'm being joined by Richard. How are you feeling today about these games?
I mean, I'm excited just as much as you are, Canadian, just getting ready to see the high-level gameplay coming out from these two teams, what can I say?
Yeah, so in the past we saw UF team defeat Squishy very quickly. I believe it was a 2-0. Is there anything you can speak on how many of these games went in the past? Because I know it was pretty difficult for us to get any information on these games.
Definitely. So it's gonna be a little hard to try to analyze these teams from their past quarterfinal games. So we do have limited amounts of information on them, but we will try to bring you the best content and the best analysis we can from their, not only from their solo queue gameplay, but from team synergy and just how basically the game goes.
Again, right away we're seeing Zach quickly along with the Wukong really targeting that jungle quickly. We saw that the jungle was very key in the past games, and really pointing out that they have such a strong impact in these games. So really want to stop that.
Yeah, just by banning out these junglers, reduces a lot of pressure around for these lanes, getting these dominant junglers who can really kind of go around and gank these teams early, coming out with Zach and Wukong. But taking out these early game junglers really do helping out these enemies.
Yeah, it's all right. So we're just seeing a few more things go through, trying to fix up the overlay at this point to bring you guys the best quality that we can. And also seeing the last few bands come through, having that Echo and Irelia with Jin and Akali, I believe.
Yeah, just a little bit of blurry, but yeah, the Akali band coming out. Not very surprising, really dominant mid lane in these so, even though she got a nerf this patch with that damage decrease on her ultimate, still very dominant laner, being able to have high kill pressure after getting that level 6. Very dominant, so I'm not surprised to see that Call again coming out for the side of Fourskin game. So we also see the Echo and the Jin ban on the UF team. Jin being a pretty dominant AD carry lately in this very kind of, I'd say, awkward AD carry meta, where there's a couple AD carries really popping out and just really become strong in the meta, but just most of them being very weak and having to wait for that late game and just rely on their team until that point. So,
especially with the quick damage that we saw. Actually, I was about to talk about Lucian in the last game that we saw, where he got very strong very quickly, never let up at any point in the game. The UF team noticing that as well, seeing the power that he has. I'm going to pick him up in as a first pick. And we responded with an ADC pick of their own, forcing grab up that Barrett.
It's some very strong AD carry picks coming out from both the team and Fourskin game, picking them up quick as possible just to get the priority, while they can still grab those strong AD carries before they get banned out. As you mentioned, Canadian, the Lucian, a very strong pick right now, having a really commanding early to mid game with his quick spell rotations and his passes. Double shot, just doing tons of damage, especially when paired up with an aggressive support like Fresh. Getting that quick engages in their early game, those small little 2v2 skirmishes, really where Lucian shines. So I just really hope to see that some early game fights from the bot lane from UFT.
Yeah, we're seeing the last pick of this pick phase, going to be the Camille on Fourskin gang. So I'm going to see where she actually wants to head. We've seen her go top lane, seen her go jungle, so it's very good for them to have that flex pick right before the bans come in. I'm interested to see who UF actually decides to focus, whether they think it's a jungle or a top ban.
And speaking more about the Camille pick, just taking a quick look at Fourskin games, Team UF teams, top laner Ryser, who's been playing a lot of Camille on the top lane, just taking that away from the top laner for the UF team. It was a really smart choice out of Fourskin game. The flexibility of being both the top laner and a jungler really helped Fourskin game as well. So great point that you brought up there.
Yeah, first try at this point. Now just what they're gonna try to ban out, as Morgana is gonna be their one ban along with Nami, so not even going to worry about which lane Camille's going to head into, and really going to focus down on their support. I'm just trying to squeeze it out as much as possible. Just 2 support bans so far, but 2 very strong as well with the shielding support that they have.
And you can definitely see you have teams like their thought process in this late part of their champs, like taking out both of those utility supports, making sure that the bot lane for UFT can get a really good 2v2 skirmish against the Varus and whatever support that they try to match him up with. Having that, taking away the black shield from Morgana, the utility that Morgana brings, and also the utility that Nami brings, taking out 2 very strong supports for Fourskin gang so that UFT can really get their bot lane going. I really like that from the, coming out from the UFT's champ select. And so it looks like Fourskin gang does reply and respond with the Galio pick. Again, another, I'd say, flex pick that can go either support or mid lane. You know, probably a little bit more gears towards the mid lane, having that little bit of map, the map pressure. But you know, you never know. You definitely support pick for Fourskin.
I'll be interested to see Galio versus the Thresh Lucian. I'm not sure how it would actually work out, but it's going to be a Galio into the Azir as the UF team responds with that pick. What do you think about that matchup, though?
So the Galio and Azir matchup, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, I feel like Azir in the early game, like level 1 through 6, definitely going to have the superior, laning phase, having that extra bit of range so that he can farm safely. And escape from his EQ combo, really safe against certain junglers like Kane for Fourskin gang. I think it's a very safe pick against the Galio. But then again, Galio having that ultimate, having that presence, or the map presence, being able to move around and just gank all these lanes. I think it's going to be more focused around what Galio does after the laning phase, right? More than what happens during the laning phase between the two.
As you're talking, I was thinking about how Galio doesn't really do much in the lane as he Q out tries to stop the push into his own tower as much as he can because of Azir being that can have such a strong presence and as possible.
Definitely. So just rounding out these team comps, you can see some solid team comps coming out from both of these teams, having very clear win conditions, and let's see if either of these teams can really execute their plans.
Yeah, wondering what's actually going to come from this one. Well, how do you feel about these matchups in general? What team do you think can win the early? What team can win the late if it goes that long?
I'm glad you asked, Canadian. So if we just look quickly at UFT, you can definitely see their plan for early to mid-game power from that Lucian Thresh bot lane, see if they can get that going against the Varus and Lulu. Lulu having a lot of utility, but both of them being very immobile champions. So if Thresh lands one good hook, it could really just doom the rest of their lane. So we definitely have to look out for the UFT bot lane of Self and Remy. So just something to look out for. And they also had that mid to late game though backup plan when it comes to Azir, having that far range DPS AP damage. Very hard to sort of play around if you don't have a very beefy lineup for against him. So definitely something to look out for. But coming out of Fourskin gang, having that Camille top lane against the Maokai, just really hope to see that this Camille top matchup can really just come out and shine. Playing against the tank as a bruiser, she does have the innate matchup, but just hopefully she can take that lead and really just run with it. Because if she doesn't, UFT is looking for a very strong mid to late game team fighting potential if their bot lane does get even a slight advantage. So I think it's something to look out for. Just in general, early to mid game, UFT definitely got it down in the bot lane. Mid lane, their Azir is just extremely careful. If Maokai just plays a little bit back, a little bit safe, he's good to go. And just UFT looking really solid. But Fourskin game definitely with nothing to understate the Varus potential of the Varus scaling potential, and just Galio with that intense map pressure with his ultimate. That Kane's immense movement throughout the jungle is just something to really look out for during these two games.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at that was a lot of information to take in there.
I'm so sorry. It was a little bit of rapid fire.
All right. I like trying to get into. We're probably heading into the game now. Wondering.
Just a
We're not
little
gonna
bit of
make it.
technical difficulties with the spectating, but we're gonna try to get back to you guys as quickly as possible.
Until minions spawn.
Okay, Latch. We're also seeing just little points throughout all of the map. No serious things happening now. Just normal. You do have a corrupting potion from both mid laners, and then having a pause come in,
A summoner has
and I think we'll use this time on figure out we're gonna get in right now. But yeah, not much coming off. Yeah, not much happening at this point.
Yeah, so if we want to just take this time from the pause to really just kind of elaborate a little bit more on these team comps and their starting items and really just their overall win conditions, Canadian. Like, so what do you like? What do you think is each team's their thought process coming into this game?
Well, seeing Kane as both junglers being very aggressive, I want to see probably the red side's top lane really try to get ahead because they have the carry possibility in the Camille. To really want the Kane to do as much as he can against Rice because it's on the Maokai, so it's going to be a lot slower of a lane for him. So really wanted to do what he can in the beginning of the game before he gets a little too tanky to deal with.
It's great you brought up Kane because if we just take a quick glance at Kane's mask or runes, we can see he took Dark Harvest. It's not very conventional as most Kanes I've seen him taking the route of Electrocute, but with the Dark Harvest, maybe he's looking for that more of a late game advantage with the Dark Harvest, So maybe early game's not the thought process for Salamander Man on the Kane, but who knows? We can see that maybe the Dark Harvest will help him pop off and just really help out his team later in the game, right?
Again, it's how long the game lasts. That's long enough, then it'll be at a certain point. It's going to be a little bit too hard to go against at that point. But yeah, both teams seem pretty even on like sheer skill level wise. All of them seem to be in their platter diamond, very good at the game, and they're in the semi-final game. I believe is for 1,000 RP for each player. Is a different place and the 3rd/4th place spots. So it's going to be very important for them to do what they can to get the money.
Yeah,
themselves.
definitely.
I mean, it's 1,000 for each player as well. So
great bargain just for a LAN tournament. So it looks like we are going to be resuming in the game real quickly, and so each team doing their standard waiting around the lanes and side bushes so that they just can look out for these invades. And so it's going to be a little slow in the early game, but it's going to be something to look out for.
all right. Okay. Now into the game. Finally was able to get off to a good start. Once again, not seeing much difference. Just having like I was saying before, corrupting potion in both mid lanes. Both wanting to last as long as they possible. Not wanting much to come from it. But looking around, not seeing much out of the ordinary with items. Seeing the bottom side start for both players, or both junglers. Wanting to see I want to see Kane try to get onto Camille up top, but we'll see what happens in his push around.
So yeah, definitely both of these mid laners taking Corrupting Pot. I definitely love it from Gala getting the little bit sustain from the range matchup. But the Azir as well having a little bit of extra mana so he can really push out his soldiers and really push in the Alia, so the Corrupting Potions. They're definitely also very gold efficient for these players, so if they're going back to base pretty often, they can just always have those pots.
Yeah, I'm looking at what's happening. Seems to be just a little back and forth in all of the lanes. Try to.
Yeah, I'm just sorry, Canadian. Just a little bit of technical issues on my part. So if I'm a little quiet, I'm just trying to focus on trying to get back into the game. So
so, as well, so that's all right. Trying to get the right. There's some fun things happening, guys. It's all right. Hang it out. There's a long civil time. Again, seeing the Azir push, being very strong against the Galio. Jax towards the top of the map. Might see him with the fights happening between Camille and Maokai, already getting very aggressive with themselves.
Yeah, and so like very critical for the Camille up top lane that she just gets the quick trades with the true damage proc on the second part of the Q. So instead of being those long trades where Maokai can really just abuse his passive and being able to heal off his autos every little bit. So just taking those short trades is going to be very critical for Camille. It looks like Maokai slowly pushing into her, so let's have to see what happens there.
And we said at the beginning where the bans actually came in, where I believe it was Morgana and Nami were banned against Fourskin support, but he did end up finding his own healer himself, going for the Lulu pick with the Varus. I guess with the Varus having Liquid Zeus as a very common first item, if you're going to attach Lulu's bird onto him, just doing extra damage with those, seems like might be a little bit too much to handle at a certain point in this game if it gets hard enough.
I definitely agree with you, Canadian, especially if a Lulu opposite kind of rush early for that Ardent Sensor, just adding a little bit of that extra damage to on there. Might be the damage will start stacking up, so we're just going to have to hope that UFT really just takes command of this ball lane sooner than later, right? Before they hit those 2-item power spikes.
Of course, and we're seeing very few bursts coming out from the mid lane, going for that null magic on the Galio, really seeing the push that Azir has. Wants to nullify that as quick as possible so that he can last as long as these lanes. I believe it's also a null magic on the side of Azir.
We do look at Team Fourskin Gang's team comp. Not too much magic damage, but then again, we do have the Varus with his Blighted Quiver, getting a little bit of extra on-hit magic damage from there. And the Galio having those high base damages. Definitely nothing to underestimate. So the nullifying magic or not a bad pickup for Azir, especially if he gets in a tight situation, between a rock and a hard place. So decent pickup.
At this point, it was a Dark Seal picked up for the Azir, not a null magic. And seeing the very strong with the Corrupting Potion, with the Dark Seal being very strong at staying in the lane for as long as possible. Sure. Now we're just waiting on another pause at this point. Not sure what the difficulties are, but we'll find out quick. I'm going to head back into it with seeing the Maokai a little bit ahead of the Camille, pushing under tower as well to just block out some of that CS that he can. I was thinking that there was a Camille. I'd be a little bit further ahead than Maokai, but it seems like I was incorrect.
Yeah, sorry about this. Still trying to get into the spectator mode. A little bit of difficulty.
As we get in. Yeah, not sure if there's anything of the difference coming out from here. We do have an Ignite on Lulu. Really wanted to get the killing if they can, but looks like Thresh is going to bring in his jungler. Jack's going to stun up the Varus in the bush. One shot the other from Lucian, but Lucian going to die from the Ignite on Lulu. Galio going to jump in on to Thresh. Thresh going down to such low health. Kane diving into him, going to take out Thresh, and also Lulu going to have the Jax for a double kill. Man, blue team thought they had the fight there. I'm seeing Galio and Kane come after and change the fight very quickly.
It was definitely looking good for UFT coming in with that 3v2, but the Thresh just trying to get into that team fight with the Jax used up a lot of his CDs or his cooldowns on his abilities, so he couldn't really lock down the Varus well enough. So just having that 3v2 just didn't really work out for Team UFT, especially since that amazing rotation is coming out from Team.
Well, that's a grand challenge from Camille as you're talking. Sorry, Matt. Oh man, that's both ults being used in the top lane, and nothing really coming from it either. Man,
unfortunate. So just really quickly on that bot lane play. Unfortunate, but a great map rotation coming out from Fourskin Games.
for sure. Now it's going to be a very big lead for the bottom lane of Fourskin. They're going to get just a little bit quicker on those power spikes of the Guizus. And I want to see Lulu also get a few more powerful items herself for those heals to make sure that Ferris did the most damage possible in those fights later in the game.
Looks like Varus is definitely going to be like the main damage of the main source of damage for Team Fourskin game, being that backline just really shredding through the front line of Maokai and Jax, and being able to just kite out and really hopefully do the most damage that you can with the Lulu buffs, obviously.
I mean, Varus would do it anyways, but Lulu just adding on seems like it would just be so much easier at that point. Now we're back to not much happening on the map. And just trying to look around, see what's happening. What is that dragon that's on right now?
Dragon that's coming up. Can't really tell from my side.
We have a dragon on the map though. We have a dragon on the map, and it's an objective that the teams might want to get. Ocean. It's Ocean Drake. Actually, Ocean would be very good within the beginning of the game. To make sure that they last just a little bit longer, even with the corrupting potions. We're seeing how important it is for them to stay in those lanes, so Ocean would make it so much easier for them themselves as well.
And as you were mentioning, that Ocean Drake with the passive healing on both the HP and a little bit of the mana, so very helpful for both of these teams, especially the top lane matchup where constantly skirmishing, constantly trading, so definitely help for the top laners. So really hopefully one of these teams try to set up for this objective gameplay or this objective play so they can really just take control of the dragon. So it looks like there's a fight a little bit on the bottom lane.
Yeah, we did see Kane try to hit his Q, but there's gonna be a hook attached onto Lulu. Lulu ults herself, do a little bit of damage onto the Thresh, but Thresh jumps in front of Lucian. Lucian using that calling to do as much damage as he can, but he needs to get out quick. It's gonna be one more kill going in favor of the bottom lane.
Great reactions coming out from Lulu, popping the ultimate as quickly as possible, so she doesn't really get bursted down, and Kane just quick enough to just react. Great communications coming out from the jungler and the support on the side of Fourskin Gaming, or Fourskin Gang. Sorry.
I just see both players of the bottom lane of UF try to do what they could, but Thresh in the end tries to land his hook onto Lulu. Lulu just having a little bit more to stay in with her ultimates. I guess Thresh just forgetting about that little piece of information he has. And he pays for his life once again.
So if we're looking from UFT, it looks like their bot lane just not really getting that early to mid game or that early game advantage that I was really hoping that they would be able to just run with the game afterwards. But it's going to be just a little bit more difficult for UFT. Going to have to take a little slower approach. While we had a little bit of trade on the top lane.
The top lane, just a little bit of back and forth. Go from full health to half health from autos. So yeah, it's been grand challenge though for Camille, one shot at a time, trying to do as much damage as he can, but being ripped up by Maokai. Maokai very low. And he's gonna go through the ground and pop up and take out Camille from her legs.
Really well played by Ricer Dodge, taking that invulnerability from the W. But it looks like Jax going for the counter strike.
Yeah, once again, Jax with the counter strike tries to stop up that Lulu, but Lulu gonna be blocked by the Galio. He's gonna be saved for that little bit of time. As you're gonna see, just come behind Maokai with the T from behind. Lulu falls down with the shutdown. Thresh lands the death sentence, and the Galio is gonna fall as well as Azir grabs his first kill of the game too. Now Varus seems like he's also caught out. What's he doing? Trying to save a little bit, but has to flash over the wall because he attacks. Has the calling over the wall onto the Varus, just missing. Kane trying to do what he can slow down this jump. Lucian tries to go out in the tower, but Maokai go under first. And it goes back on to Lucian, though. That's going to be Varus falling with Maokai so close to death as well. As that was the crazy how to fight. Oh my goodness, Maokai died.
Unfortunate minion damage coming to the Maokai. Almost a clean get over with the Lantern from Thresh. Almost clean, but just not close enough. So yeah, just definitely some great map movement coming from UFC in the beginning, but just unfortunate, unfortunately that dive under with the Varus. The damage from the tower just a little bit too much for the for Rice or Die at the moment, not tanky enough, and the Lucian just taking that forefront of the damage from the tower, just really unlucky there with that.
And then with that, with the Maokai using his TP, leaves Camille in the top lane to do what she wants with that tower. And that should be a little bit of Ocean Drake as a reward for that well-fought fight. That's not the words I'm trying to use. I mean, Ocean in their favor, along with the first turret going over all the way to Camille.
So yeah, just picking up both of those pretty imperative objectives, the first blood turret and also the first Drake being Ocean Dragon, you know, really great pickups for Team Fourskin gang, just pushing their lead a little bit more. And so just it's hopefully that they can just transition these objectives into a mid game, into some gold, and so that they can really get ahead against this team Team UF.
UFT.
UFT. Sorry, that order of the letterings a little bit too much for my 2 IQ brain Canadian. What can I say?
It's one of them. It's one of those many combinations.
Yeah.
Okay, we're seeing the bottom lane of UFT try to do what they can to push that lane under tower. Try to get back just anything that they can get back. After they're somewhat well fought, but then they always seem to not end too well. See if they want to switch that up at any point. As it is not seeing much excitement now. Azir and Maokai also helping Jax with that Rift Herald, though. Slowly but Camille walking down, seeing if she can spot anything. Like be a little bit too late, as it should be Rift Herald falling. Could be one more objective for the blue team to do what they can. That's gonna be an ultimate. The box coming out from Thresh, but King walking through the wall as Thresh gonna die once more, and Varus gonna be the one to pick that kill up.
It's an unfortunate packing from Thresh and just getting caught out there by the Varus. But it looks like Team Fourskin game won't be able to just pick up that volume turn, not just yet, while top lane it looks like they're taking that turret with the Rift Herald.
Camille, the only one to actually stop that push, as all 3 players from Fourskin Gaming grabbing that bottom tower. Camille needs to just hit that eye, and that Rift will be dead. It should be fine, but that's going to be Galio chipping in with 2 health to Camille in the top lane. Jumping, knocking up that Jax, trying to counter-strike as much as he can. That's going to be a double stun with Maokai's ultimate as well coming out. With that half health from Fourskin, and they need to back off quick and just take what they can, which are only minions.
The Jax and Maokai just not outputting enough damage to really just take them 2 out. You know, what can you say? It's a tank Maokai and the Jax without the major item yet, so not being able to deal enough damage. But later on in the game, if play something like that does come out, it really may just swing the tide of this game, so they're definitely going to have to be careful.
Again, seeing the Lulu walking through that jungle, might have spotted Azir to know where he is. In the cell describes Blue Box Lane, do know there's someone in their jungle just walking around.
The game's slowing down a little bit, just the team trying to figure out what their next move should be, looking at the objectives, what they can really grab, what they should be pushing. So it looks like the bot lane for Team Fourskin game is cleaning up mid lane, trying to match the push of Azir, picking up that little bit of extra gold. You know, Varus already picking up the Gwynsu's Rage Blade and working towards that Blade of the Rune King, so hopefully he really does get that second item. Trying to already, you know, out but it looks like Jack's getting a little quickly caught out. But Nova just gets out pretty cleanly with Blast Plant. unfortunate for Team Forcing Gang there. Varus missing the ulti for the snare, but it is what it is.
And we're now looking at there's having another pause happening at this point.
So we're gonna just take this time, this pause time, Canadian. So just really quickly, I want to just talk a little bit about the vision that both of these teams had. So a little bit barren over the map. So for now, but hopefully as these larger objectives start coming out, we can really see some of the vision coming out for these two teams as well. You know, just especially in the jungles, in the top side jungle for when that Baron spawns, and also for since how much Team Forcing Gang has opened up the top lane, being able to get that little bit of deeper vision into the jungle might really just go a long way for them. You know.
Exactly, seeing as they slowly get pushed up, we're seeing, I believe, I'd say that it seems like the map pressure seems to be on. I just said seems a lot. I apologize. Wow. But it looks like UF team is still having a little bit of the map pressure themselves, even though she's at I believe it's 4K gold lead for Fourskin, if I'm correct. I'm saying this correctly, but it looks like Galio and Maokai just gonna bop each other a little bit. No one is actually coming up to help, so Galio gonna take a little bit of damage that he doesn't want to take. Back off, give Maokai some space.
Yeah, just two tanks, just bopping each other, spilling each other out, you know, slapping the meat sticks around.
For sure right now. Looks like Maokai seeing if he can do anything. He's up by himself. Still sticking around. He's keeping Galio busy, because Galio has seemed to be very key in these team fights, especially with the Camille ultimate to help out. It's such a key duo. Maokai's able to hold Galio here as long as possible. That seems like a pretty good idea.
Yeah, Camille's Hexed ultimatum just really locking down the target, and then Galio being able to just top line with the ultimate for a huge chunk of CC.
Oh, McCain jumping on butts. Oh my goodness, the last red cape bringing back Bears, but Camille's gonna fall as she's in the middle of 4 players. Galio gonna jump into no one as no knock figure comes. Like Maokai gonna be one to flank around with the death sentence onto Galio. He's gonna be in between 4 players. Once again, we saw with Camille, we see with Galio. They're gonna try to have a little chase from Thresh. He's gonna back off and take what they have and grab the second potion for the game.
Yeah, that was a little bit pretty poggers coming out from the Thresh. Just, I think if you missed it or if anyone else missed it, he hit that mid-air death sentence on that Camille E, just really stopping that little bit of extra CC coming from the Camille. So definitely some poggers coming out from that Thresh, that mid-air death sentence. So definitely swayed and tied that fight there. Thresh.
Wait, what happened?
So yeah, the Thresh mid-air from the Camille E. He hit him with a death sentence, the Q. Hooked him right up there. Just as about Camille was about to hit connect to the E, got him with the death sentence, slowing him down, you know, CCing him down a little bit too. So
what the heck?
Yeah, pretty nutty, pretty nutty.
It's insane. All right. Well, I'm sorry guys. That's a pretty big thing to be about. Just waiting for something more exciting to happen. After a pretty poor start, I'd say, from UFT, they seem to have brought it back quite well within these last few fights.
You know, just decreasing that gap in that gold lead, and just really bring back the tempo of the game. You know, and definitely at the perfect time too, especially like when the Azir slowly powering up. You know, just a really good time for him to start being able to shine with the damage. And the Lucian closing in on that 2-item power spike, having both that Blade of the Ruined King and Black Cleaver being shaved down the front line of Team Forcing Game. So, really great time for Team UFT to bring back the game, bring back the tempo.
And now we're seeing a little bit of a fight over the Baron pit as they're getting out quickly. And just fighting over that vision. As it is such a key, I'm sure everyone watching knows that it's such a key objective in this game. At this point, with the game being where it is, just one Baron can easily turn into the game one. Seeing as it's going to be a little pause, just fighting over the mid lane as it's happening.
Yeah, just that Baron, the objective of the Baron, not only is if you could pick it up is a huge advantage, but just the Baron fight in general, being able to just mind game the opponent and to try to bait them into the Baron, and then while they still all have the debuff from the Baron, the reduced magic resistance and the armor, and being able to engage in that is also a great time for a fight and great way to slay the game. So definitely the Baron objective is something we're going to have to look out for in the next couple minutes here, as it looks like UFT is trying to siege down the mid lane.
Now, what team do you think will actually benefit more from the Baron fight with their comps? It's such a close quarters fight.
Well, looking more than just the comps, I think if we look at UFTs and their pretty much their dominance around not dominance, but their objectives of towers that they're taking so far. Having the mid lane tower gone for a team Fourskin game, it really opens the map up for team UFT. So by taking that Baron, they can really just take down that short mid lane, and we just try to run it down and grab as much resources as possible. While we have a little bit of a skirmish in bot lane against Malcolm and Camille.
Yeah, it's bot lane Camille, but Camille really regretting fighting that Maokai. Only he's like a sun fight, and he's destroying a Triforce Camille at this point. But yeah, that was unexpected for me, to say the least.
Maokai being a little bit too tanky for the Camille now. The true damage of the Q not really accounting for much anymore. With the Maokai passive healing from his autos after using abilities, first couple abilities. And it looks like Team Fourskin gang really just practicing for the Baron, just reducing the amount of vision that UFT has.
Yeah, I'm sure we've been here before, Camille. Don't want to do that again. He's learned his lesson. He's trying to clear the minions for himself. There seems to be a little fight happening with the TP coming in from Camille from the bot lane. Seems like Fresh might be caught out just a little bit. Plays Galio away, but they're still on the track. But on the bottom side, it's going to be a 5-pack from Red. When I see hop over the wall, Camille jumps onto a Azir. Like Type ultimatum, going to stop him from getting away, but Galio going to be put out above the Baron pits. But at the same time, it's going to be 4-on-1 in favor of the red team.
Fourskin game. I got you.
And it's going to be a 4-on-3 in the mid lane. It seems like everyone's going to try to disengage as they can.
Yeah, so just that was looking really good for Fourskin game. I really like that they took the TP advantage of Camille versus Maokai. Since Maokai had the TP down, they just tried to take initiative, get that 5v4 matchup, and try to really win a forceful team fight. But UFT kiting it out slowly, getting safely away. But unfortunately, the Azir does get caught out and goodbye to Camille. So it was a 2-for-1 on the side of Fourskin gang. But with the odds that UFT did have, I think a 2-for-1 not too terrible like this.
For sure, especially with Camille being there quick and first, but it didn't seem like it did too much as it was only 1 kill difference, like you were saying. I think Maokai even TP'd into that.
He just walked right from bot lane.
Yeah, he didn't even TP, so I would say that even though it's a 2-for-1, with the Baron up, it just allows Maokai to have such a stronger dominance on the bottom lane and TP whenever he wants up to a fight.
Definitely. And it looks like as much as we're focusing on the Baron objective on the top side, the bottom side Dragon is also going to start coming up. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of a mind game here to see which team tries to take the Dragon as quickly as possible. And if they do, if the other team tries to go for the Baron while they're still on the bot side. So definitely a lot of mind games coming up with the Cloud Drake that's online right now, but it looks like both teams are looking to try to get this Cloud Drake.
Yeah, for sure. So it's focusing on that Skull Crab to have the movement speed for if it does go bad. And it's Fourskin isn't even gonna contest. They're gonna allow to grab that Cloud Drake and have that extra movement speed towards the end of the game.
recognizing the 4v5 with Galio on the top side. Definitely some miscommunication or poor call from Galio on the side of Fourskin gang, but just UFT does get that Cloud Drake uncontested. Let's hope that it's not the same when it comes to the Baron, that we do see some spicy team fighting coming out for that Baron, but hopefully it isn't conceded so easily.
Actually seeing with UFT seeming like they switch control of this game. UFT starting to take a little bit back for themselves. As we Camille with a Hexing Cape ultimatum grabbing onto Lucian. Galio jumping on the hitting up of that bot lane on UFT, but Galio gonna grab a huge culling. Maokai taunted up just in time by the Galio, but Galio gonna be death sentence. That's gonna be 3 people on the Galio. And Galio gonna try to go golden, but gonna waste just a little bit of time, as that's gonna turn into a pause.
Perfect time for a pause. I'm gonna just a little bit explain what just happened there. Camille getting a little bit too cocky in the 1v2. She does initially juke the Thresh's death sentence, but a little bit of miscommunication then when it comes to the Galio, as Galio was ready to go and just hit him with the hero's entrance, but the Camille just running away with her E and with her life. And it was a little bit of miscommunication there, and some great communication on the side of UFT, getting the Maokai there as quickly as possible to CC down the Galio. Really well played by UFT. A little bit questionable by Fourskin gang, but hopefully that doesn't really affect him too much, as the Baron is still online, and that 40-second death time for Galio looking a little bit detrimental for the side of Fourskin gang. So
yeah, it seems now that Camille is just halfway to that stair stage, but thinks she has a little bit more damage than she actually does, and almost gets caught out, but Galio trades the life for her.
What a hero.
What a hero. Yeah, heroes do exist, and the hero entered by the hero's entrance. Wow. That's a true love story. I'm sure that's in like some hidden lore somewhere. That
probably.
Galio and Camille.
Yeah, Galio Camille fanfic. I can see it now already.
Yeah, as we see Maokai lock up that ADC from Fourskin, and it looks like he's not falling anywhere behind. But it's gonna be another pause.
Well, it looks like the Varys can call the excuse of lag, as the pause comes out right away. Just Varys getting just deleted right after getting snared by the Maokai ultimate. A little bit questionable. She just stood there and pretty much took the forefront of the damage from UFT, but a little bit interesting. Maybe it was lag coming out, but then again, it is an LAN tournament, so probably shouldn't.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't communicated very well, but that it was beginning again. But that happens. We're seeing very low health in this, and when the game does on pause, we're seeing that Fourskin is pretty much on the treat at this point, as that mid tower should be in favor of UFT easily, and maybe turn into to a Baron, as it is 2 players down already on the side of Fourskin.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a misplay coming out from Heartstuck Gold, a pretty much Heartstuck Gold play coming out from Heartstuck Gold. But hopefully the UFT does take this opportunity, goes to Baron while 2 men are down, and you know what? This might just be the turning point for UFT in this game.
That might just be, because none of the other times seem to have been, as they seem to slowly increment back into this game, and this might be the nail in the coffin for Fourskin if it keeps going this way.
Yep, definitely with the UFT's dominance around the maps. If they also take this tier 2 mid turret, they're just going to be opening up the map a little bit more, gaining them a little bit more dominance around the map. So definitely a little bit more control around the map. So as I mentioned earlier, hopefully UFT does take this opportunity to just get some vision also deep within the red side's jungle, so that I can really just check up on Fourskin gang and see if they can get any of these picks to really round out the game.
Yeah, especially as we did just start the game back. Kane very quickly died. They grabbed the inhib mid lane, and it seems like they're on their way to that Baron, like we were saying before. That seems like a pretty taken Baron, as there is down to no smite coming in from the side of Fourskin.
Definitely shredding this really quickly with the Lucian, Blade of the Black Cleaver, and the Azir. So looks like it's all but done for Team UFT.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Fourskin is actually able to come back from this deficit that they find themselves now in after such a strong performance in the beginning of the game. To wonder if they're able to in the end. Fighting for that. There was a Blade of the Ruin King just started, and Quintus on, and Runan's finished on the Varus. There's going to be 3 items for each ADC. So really, if either can get started in those fights, either ADC seems to be able to do the damage that they can.
So definitely Canadian with the Varus getting that 3-item power spike. If he just really is allowed to sit in the back line with the Luby alternate sensor, he can really just pop off and really delete or just shred through this Maokai Jack's front line and really just take over this team fight. It's definitely something not to underestimate when it comes to Team UFT, even after taking a very commanding Baron. Let's just hope that they don't underestimate the damage coming out from Varus.
It's like they're not really in a place to underestimate anything, as they're just grabbing objectives left and right, grabbing that tier 2 bottom lane, and it seems like they're pushing onto that inhib turret as well. Shot after shot, that's very quickly. We see a jump in. Galio also gonna hero's entrance onto 2 players, not gonna knock him up. But Lucian taking out Camille, and that's gonna be Jax taken out by Varus, as there is the damage in the back straight through Jax. That's gonna be a Galio going golden as Azir takes him out. Likewise, ult stunning up 1 player. That's gonna be Kane falling. It's gonna be a 2-on-4, trying to stop these last 2 Nexus turrets from falling. Fourskin needs to do something quick if they want to have chance at winning this first game, and not much gonna happen.
It's gonna be game Canadian, taking a very commanding win US. Coming back from a pretty early deficit, I'd say, and just Fourskin gang not really holding up to that early game advantage that they had, and just Team UFT really taking their opportunities and really running with it. So that last team fight, just an amazing flay coming out of the Thresh, just canceling any chance of Camille trying to get to the back line, and then just kiting backwards and then just really taking over the team fight. And the Azir outputting a lot of DPS from that back line. So a great team fight coming out from Team UFT. And, just unfortunate for coming out from Fourskin gang, not really taking advantage of their lead, Not
really sure. Having Galio get that very strong in the end, or not Galio, but jumping on very quickly onto those players, and not having them have a chance to have anything come from it, as they get stuck once and they're dead.
Yeah.
Have some little water.
And as our production crew tries to bring up the stats page as quickly as possible, if we could just look at that team fight once again, the Team Fourskin gang really did try their best to really get to that backline with not only the Hextech ultimatum coming out of the Camille, but also the hero's entrance from the Galio. But just if we look at the gold deficit really quickly, we can see that they did not have the items or the damage to really power through it. Team Fourskin gang didn't have enough of that damage, enough of the mobility, enough of the utility to really get to that backline of UFT, and unfortunately, Self and General Wally really took a commanding lead in the backline and dealt enough damage to really shred through the Team Fourskin gang before they really knew what was going on. So again, well played by Team UFT, and just really quickly, we're going to try and get you guys the stats page as quickly as possible back up and running. So
Not trying to have that happen, but you're talking about the Hextech and the hero's entrance, and we saw that combination come up more than once, more than twice. It was a common thing that came up in that game, and it seemed to work out in the beginning, as the teams seemed to be pretty close in gold. But as the game continued, we saw the side of UF's team just get stronger, then just passively be stronger. Looks tough. Now we see the post-game statistics come up on the screen.
Yeah,
I'm
and
seeing
if
a
we
little.
just quickly look at the post-game stats, we can see that based on the KDA team, both of these teams didn't really look like they were having or they had much of an advantage. But if you just look down the objectives and the gold, we can see that team. I'm pretty sure it's a UF team who should be on the other side, but they did have
Yeah.
the 80 towers, the 55,000 gold, the 10K gold lead. And if you really just look past the KDA and look past just that superficial stat and just look through the the objectives and the gold, you can really see how team or UFT really just took commanding lead throughout the entire game, and just not much more to say other than that. Than it was definitely well played by UFT coming out from that early deficit.
All right, yeah, that was game one of the best of three, having UFT be very commanding in the end of that first game. We're gonna take a little bit of a break. We'll be back with game number 2 between UF team versus Fourskin gang. See you in a bit.